3, 2, 1.
We are the heartbeat for Tom while he's in there, on the street and online. Don't let anybody provoke you into making a wrong decision today or one false move. I'm not here to tell people what to do, but I see him regularly, I speak to him regularly, and we have come too far just to come this far. I'm going to get the lineup of speakers ready. Are we going to have another song? We'll get another song, we'll get the speakers ready, and let's get some energy in the streets of London. Let's fight for the love and optimism. Come on! Tommy's going to hear about this. And let's not forget about the other political prisoners as well that are locked in a cell for posting stuff on Facebook and start raising didn't like. And there we have it. I'll be back. Hamas terrorist attack survivor. Miss Tal, heart up, ladies and gentlemen, give a big round of applause, come on!
Shalom London! Okay, I've come from Israel to give you hope that your fight is far from over. But first, the bad news. 14 years ago, I was taking an American Christian friend of mine on a hike on a nature trail in the state of Israel. And we were walking through the cyclamens under the pines when we were pounced on by two men with machetes. I fell to the ground, I struggled with one of them, but he overpowered me. And then we were both hurled to our feet. And then we were in this most surrealistic event. We're under really a canopy of pines where I can hear the birds chirp. We're held at knife point for half an hour. And finally one of them tells me to take off my shoes, and he ties our hands behind our back with my shoelaces. They gag us, and he removes my Star of David. And then I hear this symphony of monotheism. They wail the takbir. Christine Lucan, an American Christian, whimpers, "Jesus save me." And through the vomit behind my gag, I gurgle the eternal creed of the Jewish people, Shema Israel. He stabs me so hard in the back, I fall to the ground. He leans on my side, and every time he plunges that machete into me, I can hear my bones crunch. And the only thing I know to do is to play dead. So I tried not to move. I kept my eyes open, and in front of me I watched the most scarring and unforgettable sight of a woman hacked to pieces before my eyes. They leave, and I have one last goal in life. My commission is to die. Near where I park the car so the police can find my body, and after a struggle I manage to stand. I turn my back on what is left of my friend, and step by step I begin to walk. I have 13 machete wounds, over 30 broken bones, snapped ribs, a collapsed lung, a crushed sternum, a dislocated shoulder, a broken shoulder blade, splinters in my lungs, a sliced diaphragm, and in that state I walked over a mile and found hope. In this very, very dark story, I have a little bit of hope. In that initial scuffle with these terrorists, I managed to pull out my penknife and stab one in the nuts. And due to that stabbing, the police were able to apprehend the terrorist because of his DNA on my sleeve. The good news is that they were sentenced and arrested, and as I speak, I'm waiting to hear if my would-be killers are going to be released for our hostages. The other bad news that I want you people to know about is for the last 14 years, your taxes have been sent to the Palestinian Authority, who are rewarding these terrorists with a monthly murder salary. Listen out, London. I'm going to get to that. Listen. Listen to me. Listen to me, please. It is unkind and untrue and unhelpful to say all Muslims are machete-wielding murderers. It was a Muslim doctor in Israel who used a scalpel to save my life. Likewise, it is unkind and helpful and untrue to say all Muslims groom and rape children. Not all perpetrators of grooming and rape are brown-skinned Pakistani men, and not all victims are white English children. At its core, what is happening in this country is not about race or nationality. Sexual slavery, which is what is happening, is in the foundational texts of 7th century Islam. Jihad is a campaign of aggression waged by Muslims against non-Muslim peoples to make them submit to Islam. Islam does not mean peace, it means submission. The sexual slavery of non-Muslim children in this country, at its core, is part of jihad. Jihad shuts down free speech. Jihad sneaks in the back door of the House of Commons and demands blasphemy laws. Jihad marches round the corner under foreign terrorist flags with a battle cry to globalise the Intifada, and the route of that Intifada passes through an arena in Manchester, London Bridge and the London Underground. No one knows in this country the exact number of child sex slaves. But in a way, that doesn't matter as much as knowing their names. Numbers don't nest in our hearts, but names do. Names conjure up faces. And in Israel, we know the face of every single hostage. Their posters are everywhere. We have yellow ribbons tied around trees. We have yellow ribbons in football teams. They wear as armbands. Our broadcasters wear yellow badges. And in every public building in Israel, there is an empty yellow chair, and also in Parliament.
I've been trying to get in touch with you.
Where's the flag?
If the posters of your children, your sex slaves, were on billboards in Bradford, in pubs in Rochdale and Rotherham, on tubes in London and Oldham, on taxis in Telford, and in every court, police station and kebab shop in this country, your child sex slaves will become household names, and they will become part of this nation's consciousness. Names of the victims could be on a banner rolling across the bottom of the screen at the likes of the BBC, Sky News and Channel News. Just think if every MP, every baroness, every local councillor, the Lord Mayor of London and the Prime Minister himself would wear a dog tag like this, which instead of saying, "My heart is held captive in Gaza," it would say, on one side there'll be a Union Jack, and on the other side it would say, "I will make our children safe again." London, people of Britain, to fight this fight, you need to get behind honourable, wonderful, warrior Muslims like Raja Maya. Raja has been fighting for 6 years to expose the Labour cover-ups. The Labour Party is protecting groomers and gang rapists to get the Muslim vote. You need to promote the voices of Iranian dissidents and platform fearless, outspoken Muslim apostates. You need to make the name of Salman Momika, an apostate Christian but an Iraqi refugee in Sweden, who is known for his public demonstrations of burning the Quran, and he was murdered a few days ago by outraged jihadists. Let me tell you this, I understand outrage. I understand the outrage. I too am outraged at the terror which shredded my life. Not only did I lose my friend, I lost my health, my anonymity, my home, peace of mind, restful nights, routine, income, the dignity to provide myself, my vocation, the ability to enjoy the mundane, a pain-free existence, and my mental health. Yes, I am outraged, but I did not go running after Muslims, pouncing on them, tying them up, and hacking them to death. Outrage is a choice. You have a choice as how you can behave. It's a choice between a machete or a scalpel. And so I tell you, good people of London, and I can see you all, it is incumbent on you, Christians, Jews, Sikhs, Buddhists, Muslims in this country who held in the highest esteem British law. You have to continue to choose the ethical and cultural superiority of Western civilization over 7th century Islam. The alternative is to side with the people marching round the corner. They would be the deranged and the depraved who express their outrage by ripping down posters of babies held captive in tunnels. These people around the corner, these are the people who excuse the murder of a refugee because he burned a book of those who persecuted him. These are the people who contextualize, excuse and legitimize the slaughter, the rape, the butchery, the beheading, the burning and the abduction of men, women and children on October the 7th from the farms and villages in the state of Israel. And this is my hope, because I have been wrong. And some of you may believe that this country is over. I've been wrong many times, I'll be wrong again, but I'm here to tell you, if you think this country is over, you could be wrong. I was asked to guide Tommy Robinson in Israel. Frankly, I wasn't really relishing the fact of taking around my country a white, racist, neo-Nazi, goose-stepping, swearing thug. I was right about the swearing, but I was wrong about everything else. I was also wrong about Israel. Those first days after October the 7th, I wondered if we would survive. But I'm telling you, out of this barbarity, we are living again. And where there is life, there is always hope. And I've been wrong about myself. Given the unadulterated terror that I experienced, I never thought that I would ever be able to leave my room again. Hello, London! And here I am, after thinking I could never face anyone again because the terror was so deep. Here I am, just chilling out, with tens of thousands of British patriots, with my back to the Prime Minister of this United Kingdom. So London, just to conclude, I'd like to thank you, and I'd like to say to the people on the march over there with their terrorist flags, it's been very healing for me to take a little time out of my busy schedule of genocide and talk to you all today. So, just remember, London, it ain't over till the fat lady sings. Shalom!
Let's have an absolutely massive round of applause for Terry, the hero of free speech. And I want to very quickly think about Salwan Mamika. Salwan Mamika had a rather unusual hobby. He burned Qurans on a regular basis. Salwan Mamika was a hero of free speech. To fall silent for 1 minute for a hero of Western civilization and a hero of free speech. Let's have a massive cheer for Salwan Mamika. And now I would call for everybody to go into a hushed silence for 1 minute as we bow our heads and remember that hero of free speech, Salman. Let's have a minute's silence starting now. a movement, the Unite the Kingdom movement. We want everybody to remember the name of Sauron. So I want everybody in the crowd to start chanting, Sauron, Sauron, Sauron! Sauron, 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 Sauron! And we're going to let the killers, the psychopathic religious extremists that killed Sauron know. We will never forget the names of the heroes of freedom. But we will despise your name forever who killed freedom and who killed Sauron. Thank you very much. And now, a slight change of tone. We've got the broadcaster, the writer and the editor of the Conservative Woman. Give it up for Kathy Gingle!
What an incredible honour it is to be here today.
Bit closer.
We're here to end Tommy Robinson's isolation. My name is Kathy Gingell. I edit a website called The Conservative Woman Defending Freedom. That is why I am here today, to defend freedom. One person's freedom in particular. Even closer, sorry. Should it be down a bit? Is that better? Sorry everybody, I'm managing the mic. I'm not very used to this. The person's freedom who I'm defending is right now behind locked doors in cruel, solitary confinement. And for what? To light. I am here today to add my voice to the thousands of people here, to your voices, to call for Tommy Robinson's freedom and immediate release. For his immediate release and an end to this travesty of justice. Here to condemn those behind this shocking and unprecedented sentence. To condemn those who weaponized contempt of court to silence him. This is wrong. The last time a journalist was imprisoned for contempt of court was in 1963. 2 journalists for 3 months and 6 months. Never, ever with solitary confinement. Tommy is a victim, you all know, of 2-tier justice. 18 months in solitary confinement for a civil offence is obscene and above all wrong. Today I am speaking for the many people I know who also know it's obscene and wrong, but who are too afraid to speak out. The far-right label is a very, very effective way of shutting otherwise decent people up. Jordan Peterson was right. And I ask, who is responsible for that? The Daily Mail, the Telegraph, and politicians who should know better. They may choose not to recognise Tommy's unwavering commitment to revealing the grooming gang atrocities. They may choose not to like him. They may choose not to have anything to do with him. That's up to them. But letting smears become an excuse for banging him up is just plain wrong. It's time they were told, and I call on them now to stop it, to open their eyes to the biggest travesty of justice of this century in this country, and to join our campaign to free him now.
Come on, big round of applause for Kathy. It's not easy up here. Come on, let's go. Let's get it up. That's what we're here for. We want Tommy out. 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 We want Tommy out.
We want Tommy out! We want Tommy out! We want Tommy out! We want Tommy out!
And you know what? That is exactly what we want. We're not just here to stop the isolation. We are here because we want Tommy Robinson free from that jail cell. No more solitary. No more mucking around. Get Tommy out of jail now. And every other political prisoner in there for retweets and Facebook posts that went against the Starmer regime. No more. And next, one of Urban Scoop's, I thought Liam Gallagher's right down here on this mic. One of Urban Scoop's favourites, Mr. Danny Roscoe, let's go! Come on, London.
Go, Daddy.
Right. For too long, they've tried to divide us. They've tried to silence us. They've stripped away our culture, but today that ends. Because we want our country back isn't just a slogan, it's a battle cry. This land is ours. It was built by giants, by warriors, by men and women who shaped the modern world. And now is our turn. For our children, for their future. You see our borders, they are wide open. We are being invaded by thousands upon thousands of unvetted, undocumented men, and we have illegal immigrants living like kings. While our veterans, the men who have bled for this country, sleep on the streets. There is 40,000 people on the terror watch list. Islamists walking amongst us, while every day mothers fear for their children's safety. That is the UK that the establishment wants to hide from the world. The West, we once stood for free speech, but now today's dissenters are either censored, deplatformed, jailed or worse. And again, rest in peace, Salwan. Tommy Robinson, though, he has been in solitary confinement for months because he told the truth. We are here, stop the isolation, free Tommy Robinson, or at the least give him his visits! But it's not just about Tommy. We are here for every political prisoner who has been punished for telling the truth. People like Wayne O'Rourke, he shared the truth. He exposed the illegal invasion. He said some hurting words granted, but he called out the government's lies, and now he also is in prison for over 2.5 years, while paedophiles and Muslim grooming gangs walk free! Britain has been betrayed by Keir Starmer and the officer Sadiq Khan, those who in charge of treason! But who pays for this betrayal? Because it's not the politicians, it's not the people in the gated communities, it's not in the elites with their private security. It's you, it's me, it's our families, our children. So I demand a few things, ladies and gentlemen. close down the borders and let the people here deport every illegal immigrant starting from those in the hotels. We've got to round them up and kick them out! Deport every foreign criminal in our prison system! Round them up and kick them out! Start the migration program for those who refuse to assimilate. If you don't want to be British, you can fuck off back where you came from! I also demand that British jobs are made for British people. British homes are there for British families. Schools, dentists, doctors, GP surgeons, it goes on and on. They all serve the British people first. And I demand a government that puts the British people first and protects us from all our foes. That includes the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, and domestic terrorists like Antifa and Hope Not Hate! And I think you kids wanted to do this, but now people, I'm going to leave with this. I am going to leave with this. We've got to do this for our family. We've got to do it for our neighbours. We've got to do it for every single man and woman who gives a damn about this country. And if we stand together, if we fight together, there is no force on this earth that can stop us. And today, we begin the fight to take back this country! Today, free all of the illegal prisoners! Demand a full public inquiry into the death of Peter Lynch! God bless each and every one of you! God bless this nation! And everything we do is for Britain! Thank you!
I'm going to ask these guys and girls, please, let's raise the roof of these buildings. Tommy is going to be listening. Tommy is going to be hearing you. Can we sing? Oh, Tommy, Tommy! Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson! Oh, Tommy, Tommy! Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson! Hey! Big up! Now back to my camera.
What a guy! Oh, I wish I'd have had the initiative to take the mic out to stand earlier. I hate standing there. Big love, brother. So I've been getting updates from behind stage of the counter protesters, the lazy left kicking the can about. You know the ones. There's about 500 of them with absolutely nothing to protest against. Who in God's name would want to protest against you lovely lot? Blows my mind. Anyway, next on stage is the founder of Lotus Caesars and political commentator, Carl Benjamin, ladies and gentlemen, let's go!
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for braving the cold February. So, one of the narratives that I hear about Tommy Robinson coming from the media is that Tommy is not a political prisoner. And that is obviously false. Because we are ruled by communists. And we know that. Keir Starmer was a Trotskyist in his youth, and his opinion on things has not changed. And to the communists, everything is political. So every decision that they make is a political act, and every person they arrest is a political decision, which is why the Southport rioters are also political prisoners. One of the main problems that we have at the moment is a lack of really good leadership. You'll notice that Tommy Robinson is brought up to Nigel Farage as a weapon by the media, because they know that Mr. Farage has not got a good response to him. And so what Nigel does is insults and denigrates Tommy for the pleasure of the media, which is very foolish because many of his supporters are also supporters of Tommy Robinson. And so what the media is doing, and Farage is allowing to be done to him, is to sow division in his own base and split and make trouble for the people who support reform. What he ought to be doing is stepping over the issue. And when they bring up Tommy Robinson to him, Nigel should be on the attack. He should say, well, hang on a second, why does Tommy Robinson even exist? Whose failures have led to Tommy Robinson being a person we have to talk about? If it wasn't for the fact that the rape gangs have been covered up by the media, by the politicians, by the councils, by the police, if it wasn't for these people all being complicit, looking whoever who's interviewing him dead in the eye and accusing them too, Tommy Robinson would not be here with us. And so Nigel Farage could easily win all of these arguments by saying, I have come here to make sure that Tommy Robinson can retire, by making these problems resolve themselves with justice. Fortunately, Nigel does have good people around him. I've noticed that even Lee Anderson has been speaking quite stridently recently, but I'd like to give a big shout out to Rupert Lowe for providing the moral leadership that is required in this country. And one last thing that really I do find frustrating is the lack of attack on every single one of their narratives. We have a great example in our friends in America. Do not give them an inch. Pick a topic that is important to the British people, polarize it, and win on it. The obvious thing to do in Britain is to look at the polls. 70% of people are against immigration now, so Nigel Farage could easily win on this subject. This is what they should be doing, and for some reason they're not. Anyway, I will, of course, try and keep it brief because it's very quiet, very cold. But thank you all so much for coming. I'm genuinely shocked at the impressive turnout that we've had. Godspeed.
Another wonderful man. So we're going to have a song, and whilst the music's playing, the charity buckets are going to come round, and all those donations go towards Urban Scoop, and they help families that are going through similar problems that Tommy is and his family, all those political prisoners, banged up, unjust. Always start the music when I'm speaking. You get the picture. And there's also going to be some hats coming round for sale. So hats and buckets and music. And then we got Maya Tusi coming on the stage. Cancel going on. Tusi TV. Winning every single day. And I'll see you very shortly.
Separating, segregating, the storm is coming through.
time, cancelled by Iran, and driving the truth through YouTube via 2TV, 2CTV. It's been a long day. Ladies and gents, Mr. Man 2C!
Hello. Well, we're back. As you guys know, we're here for Tommy Robinson, but also all the other political prisoners. But before the BBC has a meltdown, no, I'm not talking about those who went to loot the shops and cause trouble like that, but those who were arrested for protesting, those who were protested for standing on a pavement and observing a protest, and those who posted a meme on social media. We are there for them. But I would like to talk about the hypocrisy of the liberal establishment, not just in the United Kingdom, but on an international level. It's not just this government behind me. Our so-called allies, Justin Trudeau, Emmanuel Macron, all the liberal countries, the hypocrisy of the international allies. They are very vocal when it comes to condemning you, because your views are extremist. They get involved, they interfere in our politics. But they don't say anything. When the Taliban take over Afghanistan, they don't talk about it. They say it's their country. They say when the Gazans, the Palestinians overwhelmingly voted for Hamas, that's democracy, that's their sovereign right. It's fine. When Al-Jilani and his Islamist minions and nutters take over Syria, Justin Trudeau's government, Emmanuel Macron's government, all of them, they go and shake hands with him. It's a sovereign right. But the United Kingdom, the British people, having views, oh, they should interfere. They have every right to interfere. But the hypocrisy goes further. Let's talk about Salwan. Salwan Momika, a Christian refugee from Iraq, a genuine refugee and asylum seeker. The liberal left, who claim that all refugees are welcome here. Not Salwan. The Swedish government let him down. The Americans were supposed to be helping him. Took their time. This is the problem of Iraq. It's an international problem, and I'm glad as again to see all the different flags, the American flags, the Iranian flags, of course the Israeli flags and all the others as well. We're all in it together. But it's also about you guys. I want to say thank you to every single person who's been patient, who's here in the cold, came all the way from across the countries, like some people from across the world. You guys were furious, but still peaceful. You show your strength in numbers. And it's about you. Without you guys, Tommy couldn't continue what he was doing. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here. I'll probably be in jail in the one. But I love you all. I was going to say, my heart goes out to you all, but my fiance said I can't say it. Apparently you're not allowed to stay, my heart goes out to you all. So my heart will stay right here. Not moving, stay right here. Now, I did also say obviously, the last few times we were here, I preached crisis of birth rates and demographics. The Anglo-Saxon Christians need to start having babies. The British patriots need to start having babies. Afterwards everyone said, what about you? Well, I finally done it. My fiance's here. We're getting married in a few months. And we're going to have a lot of mini TCTVs. No one's... Thank you again for everything. As usual, if you haven't subscribed to TCTV, on mine, and we are the media.
not big enough balls to go and speak at Speaker's Corner and debate. Anyone that's prepared to stand in front of them gets big respect from me. So I want to welcome on stage a brave Christian lady with bigger balls than most, Shalini. Come on, let's hear for Shalini, big balls.
I thank God and I thank the team for inviting me to speak on the stage. Thank you so much. And I just want to say, Tommy Robinson, if he's watching or if he's allowed to watch, that you are never alone. We all are with you. We will fight this fight together. We are never alone. And we want to make this country, Great Britain, great again. Can we hear from Tommy Robinson? Can we hear? Oh, Tommy, Tommy! Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson! Hey, Tommy, Tommy! Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson! Thank you. I just want to say, you know, this country is a country based on Christian values. This country belongs to the people who wants to live in this country with freedom of right, freedom of religion, freedom of cultural values, and this country embraces every faith, every religion. But my dear friends, there are some politicians and the wicked and evil people in this country who are sitting on the post, on the position, and they are there to destroy this country. Those politicians need to be thrown down, and we need the politicians who work for the welfare of the country. It's time to rise up and save your children, save your families, save your daughters, save your wives, save your mother from the vicious, evil people, those who are working behind the religion, all vicious and evil acts. You know, in this country, they have got one word, that is Islamophobia. The phobia word, they have used it in a very wrong way. We are not scared of Islam. We are not scared of Islam. This country belongs to Christians, and this country respects every religion. And we are here to fight this fight together. Tommy Robinson, when he talked about expose the grooming gangs from Pakistan and from Bangladesh, they are grooming our young children, they are grooming our young girls, they are sexually assaulting our young girls. It's time to save them. It's time to speak for them. And Tommy Robinson, I just want to say, you are never alone. We all are together in this fight. And this country, you know, this country gives you freedom of religion. This country gives you equal rights. A lot of asylum people have come here. They have welcomed in this country. But when you live in this country, you don't backstab the country. You don't backstab the country. You respect the country. You don't backstab it. So, your Sharia laws, keep it in your backside. Keep your Sharia laws in your backside. We don't need it here in this country. If you don't want to live in this country, you can go back to your Sharia countries. Not here. Not here. So my dear friends, Islam is not a religion. It's dressed as a religion. But it's the cult and evil and wicked, vicious acts behind the name of religion. So my dear friends, we stand together with Tommy Robinson. And Tommy Robinson, we love you. You are never alone. And I just want to say, Tommy Robinson, may God bless you. May God keep his face shine upon you. May God be gracious unto you, and may God keep his countenance upon you, and may God give you peace. This is for Tommy Robinson. You are never alone. We all are together with you. And we will fight this fight together. In the name of Jesus Christ, we will get this country back on its feet and back from the wicked, evil politicians who are sitting on the post. Wicked, evil politicians who are sitting in this post, and they are only for the destruction of the country. They are not for the welfare of the country. So my dear friends, this country embraces everyone. This country welcomes everyone. And it's time that we see that we don't backstab this country. So we love this country. We are standing for this country. And we pray. I just want to pray for the people of this country and for the whole country that, the Lord is our shepherd and we shall not want. We will not lack nothing. He makes us to lie down in green pastures. He restoreth our soul. He makes us to walk in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And in the Bible it says, even though we walk through the valley of the shadow of the death, we will fear no evil. Fear is from the devil. We are not for fear. Fear is from the devil. But, love is from God. And we will fear no evil. And God will make your enemies. God will prepare a table in the presence of our enemies. And God will anoint our head with oil. And surely goodness and mercy will follow thee all the days of our life. And we will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Blessed is the nation whose Lord is God. And we thank you. Thank you, Robinson, Tommy Robinson. You are never alone. We love you and we stand with you forever and ever. Thank you.
Well, that'll be a very difficult one to follow. I wonder to bring in a couple of announcements, and I'm going to bring a very good friend, Peter McElvenna from Heart to Vote. But first, before I do that, and if the cameras can get on this, there's a very special event taking place on the 22nd of March this year, and it's called For the Children. There'll be a lot of details out. If you've got these leaflets in the crowd, please scan the QR code, go to the Facebook page, join the Facebook page, and let's get tens of thousands of British patriots standing for our children on the 22nd of March 2025. Now, I want you to give an absolutely massive welcome to Peter McElvenna. Peter has been walking this walk for 20 years. He's done a lot in the background. He put his face out there about 7 years ago with Heart to Vote. His channel is absolutely fantastic. He'll tell you where the social media is. Give a massive round of applause for my friend and your friend Peter McElvenna.
Thank you, Richard. Great to see so many patriots here today. And no matter if you've only come across Tommy a month ago or 10 years ago, this is your family. This is the people who will stand with you. These are the people that Tommy has brought together who will speak truth into every situation. So welcome to your new family if you're new to this. You are all enemies of the state. So some of us know what that is like, others don't, but we know we will stand for because we know what we stand for. I first met Tommy 16 years ago. We launched Heart to Vote 5 years ago, 10 minutes that way. Tommy spoke, as did Carl Benjamin and others. And I went to see him in prison a couple of weeks ago with Jared Batten, as I did to Belmarsh before, never having been to prison except when I visited Tommy Robinson. Of course, I did have to sign an NDA because I wanted to spend time with him and to cheer him up. And he actually cheered Jared and I up because he knows what is happening out here with Elon Musk and the support that he has. So, how did everyone feel on the 1st of January when you saw Free Tommy Robinson on X, on Twitter? What a moment! Now, I could tell you all about how broken our society is. rape gangs acted with impunity for 6 years. Nearly a quarter of a million children's lives snuffed out every year in the name of convenience. Sexualization of our children in every area of society. Acceptance of a brutal and destructive ideology based on a man who may or may not have lived 1400 years ago in Saudi Arabia. Anyone know what man I'm talking about? Beginning with M, I think, and Mr. Mohammed. Our culture and society has been overwhelmed by an immigration tsunami. Absolute truth is rejected. We need something. And Tommy knows all these issues, and he has fought against all these issues and spoken truth into them. And that's why you're here. We need a vision for this country, and it's not Reform UK at the moment. Maybe in the future, but not now. And I want to talk about Christian nationalism, the promotion of Christian values in society. Christian nationalism is hope for our nation. It's a society based on biblical principles. But Christianity is Christ. It's following Jesus. And you take Christ out of Christian and you're left with Ian. Now, Ian is not going to do much for you, so I'd like to see Christ back in Christianity. And Christianity is clearly defined, unlike British values. British values, we hear of democracy. Well, how does that place work for you and me? Parliament. It hasn't. What about rule of law? We now live in a lawless society. Do you trust the police or the courts? I don't. Individual liberty, that has slipped away during lockdown and is continued and is now completely destroyed. What about mutual respect? The only thing we are told to respect is Islam and every culture except ours. What about tolerance? That means an acceptance of error, and I don't subscribe to that. British values are subjective, but biblical values are absolute, and they will show us how to live. The fact that we are made in the image of God, the fact that we are told that God created each of us in the womb, I mean, that should end the abortion industry. The WHO tells us that induced abortion is a simple and common health care procedure. How is it health care? 3 out of every 10 pregnancies end in abortion. That's 60 million deaths every year. It is illegal to pray outside an abortion clinic. And how can we have 170 accident and emergency departments, but 300 abortion departments? We have more death centres than health centres. And I know Calvin was speaking at one of these events saying, I won't give my heart out to you as he did. But you know what I mean. We are made in the image of God. That means our skin colour is irrelevant, our background, our ethnicity. We are all made in the image of God, and every one of us has unique value. What about the God created us male and female? Do you know, this is not but this is the first of 28 long days where we celebrate the sexual madness of LGBTQI. It's a month of sexual perversion that reigns in our nation and seeks to destroy the family. What LGBTQI should really stand for? Let's go break the queer ideology. That's what I would suggest. Let's rename these things. Let's have some fun. It's an evil and destructive ideology that must be destroyed. Now, President Trump is going to destroy it there. We need that same justice here. But can I just finish? We are each here for a reason. In Ephesians it says, we are created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance to do. Every single one of us has a purpose. Every single one of us were created for a reason. We need to make sure and find out what this is. Part of the reason is because you're here, because you want to have freedom. You want your country back. I'll leave you with a quote. Mark Twain said the 2 most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. We need to find out why. Tommy knows why he was born, and that is to speak truth in every section of society. Can I just finish to ask you this week to take time? Many of you have written to Tommy. Many of you have talked to family members and colleagues about how Tommy is and what he is doing. Can I ask you to just take a moment this week and pray for Tommy? It's something each of us can do. Many of us here actually believe in a God. You may believe in the God of the Bible. pick another one. I want you to pray this week and pray for Tommy for courage, for protection, for safety, that he will get out quickly, that Elon Musk supported him, will free him. And can I ask you to pray that we see our politicians turn around and accept Tommy is a hero and to have a change in our parliament. Thank you so much.
Then we're going to Peter McElvena. Couple of announcements. First one is, if there's buckets in the crowd, if you can start passing all the buckets back to the front of the crowd, because we want to get that money in before it disappears and goes into those white police vehicles at the back of the crowd. We don't want to go there, we want to go into here. So bring the buckets up. If you haven't put money in the buckets, do it now. And we're going to introduce a song by Tracy Chapman called Talking About a Revolution. And jump up and down.
Don't you know, talking about a revolution sounds. Don't you know, talking about a revolution sounds.
And you may see that GP spent a week or so in a migrant camp in Calais and then travelled across the channel on a dinghy, only to be arrested. Guys, give it up for Lee West.
Hi guys, how's it going? Been put on the spot a little bit here today. I wasn't due to speak on stage. I'm just here giving a bit of support for Vicky, who is speaking later. So I've been stitched up a little bit by Dan. And I don't want to talk about the politics and the message that we are driving home today, because I think the guys have been doing an absolute fantastic job of that. What I did want to say is a little bit about you guys. And this is the first time I've ever attended an event like this, unbelievably. I served my country in the Royal Marines for 17 years, so I have seen a few... Cheers. I have seen a few unruly crowds in my time, which today isn't. I've been in Afghanistan and Iraq, and I've also been in a yellow vest protest in Paris, and that was carnage, very violent. But just want to say a little bit about what I've seen today, because not having been to one of these events, I mean, the closest I've been is a handful of the Free Palestine Idiots outside my business in Swansea. I've been able to look at it from a fresh set of eyes, unbiased. I'm not here on anybody's behalf today, just here in support. And it's been able to look at it with a fresh set of eyes and without any bias. Now, I'm sure none of you listen to or are influenced by the legacy mainstream media, and neither am I. But unfortunately, when you are active online, you do come across their stuff. And it can get into your psyche a little bit. And if you listen to that, and I'm sure you've got a lot of people in your friends and circles on social media who would look at something like today and have a lot of prejudice towards it, I think it's just a bunch of unruly, violent criminals and thugs out causing aggression and criminal damage. And today's been the absolute opposite. I've never seen such a peaceful, polite and positive gathering in my life. It's been absolutely amazing. And it's been a privilege to see it from this point of view. I was right at the start, I was right in the middle of it, and now I'm getting to see it from you. And every single one of you should be proud of the way you conducted yourselves today. You've absolutely covered yourselves in glory. And I'm very proud to see it. I'm sure Tommy is going to be proud when he gets to see it, right? And the country should be proud of what you've done here today. It's been amazing to witness. And I guess my last little point is going on from those prejudices to us and everybody who's here today. And the fight isn't against the far left or the left, because you can't fight against someone. You're never going to have a reasonable conversation with them, and you're never going to change their minds. The fight is with the middle ground. For those people who are scared to comment on something like today in a positive way like I have, And I can go back to those people now and say, well, I've seen it with my own eyes. If you haven't, don't cast judgment. Go yourselves like I have and get involved. So enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. And be proud of yourselves.
Sorry guys, me again. There was one thing I did forget, that it is a personal invitation to every single person here on the 15th of February in Swansea. We are having a big celebration. It's a Valentine's celebration. Happy Valentine's Day, Britain. And it's going to be filled like this with great people like yourselves. And it's just going to be an event which lets us remember what it is that makes Britain great. So the 15th of February in Swansea. Hopefully see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan, and the Voice of Wales team, absolutely fantastic. Now, I wonder who's travelled the furthest to get to this event today. I spoke to someone this morning that come all the way from Indonesia. Well, Becky, the guy coming on next, beats that. He's come all the way from the United States of America. Give it up for a friend of Tommy Robinson, a friend of mine, a friend of England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, Mr. Don Keith. Thank you very much. Hello, hello! Everybody say, yeah! That's what I love to hear, man. I love to be here with you guys. It's you guys are such a welcoming country, and every time I come, I'm just flabbergasted by the turnout, and just the love, and just everything. You guys mean a lot to me. You know, people ask me. I got asked last week, as a matter of fact, why do you march with Tommy Robinson? Well, I wasn't able to march with Winston Churchill and George Washington. I didn't have the opportunity to march with Martin Luther King because I wasn't alive at the time. But I am alive in the time of Tommy Robinson. So I marched with Tommy because I couldn't march with those great heroes. And he's just as heroic as those in my eyes. I got to tell you guys a story. I don't know if you've heard this yet, but I was supposed to see Tommy tomorrow. Had the visit all scheduled and was ready to go. As I was getting on the plane, or getting ready to get on the plane yesterday, I got a letter from the prison system who said, we're sorry, you're not going to be able to see Tommy because you have a social media platform and we're afraid you're going to share the details of your visit on social media. How bad must the treatment of Tommy Robinson be if the prison system is afraid you're going to share some details on social media? So there's Tommy languishing once again in a Gestapo prison cell, a confined prison cell, solitary confinement, for a civil contempt charge. Absolutely ridiculous. As I understand it, no one in history has ever been sentenced to solitary confinement for a civil contempt charge. You know, I gotta say, it's pretty overwhelming to me to see how quickly, and what an embarrassment it must be to Western governments like the United Kingdom and Germany and all these others to see that in the last 2 weeks, Donald Trump, since his election, thank you. That's right. Thank you very much. But what an embarrassment must it be to see that it only takes 2 weeks to completely seal your borders, get rid of DEI and all the transgender bullshit that these Western governments put their people through. So it's time for the same kind of change in the United Kingdom. But the question is, how far are you willing to go? I heard Andrew Bridgen mention Malcolm X. We had another famous civil rights leader named Martin Luther King. He effected a lot of change in America through marches and protests and silent sit-ins. But, you know, it wasn't just the marching that got the Civil Rights Act passed. It was the marching, and people all around the world were seeing the oppression of what would happen to people peacefully marching in America, people peacefully sitting in diners and enjoying food, drinking from a white water fountain, and then getting beaten by police dogs or incarcerated or shot with water cannons from the fire department. That's called civil disobedience. A lot of folks in America call that good trouble. But the point is, sometimes you have to risk a little freedom to earn a little freedom. So the question is, how far are you all willing to go for that? I know Tommy's sitting in solitary confinement right now. Obviously, we want to be peaceful in anything we do. But there comes a time, sometimes, you have to share that post on social media to speak out against your government. Now, speaking of Trump, before I get off here today, I want you guys to do me a little bit of a favor. I got some folks coming on stage to join me. And what I want you to do is help me send a little salute out to Donald Trump and show him that you guys, because I can tell you all the people in America support you and everything your struggles you're going through right now. But I'm going to play a little song here, and I need you all to participate with me and salute Donald Trump. It's called the YMCA, so I need y'all to do the dance with me. Thank you so much for turning out, showing support to Tommy.
Really appreciate it. Little homework before you go home today. Bring the person with you next time. Tommy's getting out in September. We want to see 1 million people here in September to greet him when he gets out. Can you do that for me? My name is Don Keith. You can find me on Twitter or X at @RealDonKeith. I love you all so much. Thank you so much. You see, you don't get that at a lefty demonstration. You never see any dancing at a lefty demonstration. All you see is complaining, whinging, crying, all the right side of history. And when you win, I want to introduce, do you know something? The class of the speakers is going up. It used to just be people like me, but today we've got Pete Gotch. He's a criminal barrister. He's doing Tommy Robinson. Give it up for Pete Gotch. Well, I don't know how I'm going to top that. That's just impossible, isn't it? My name's Pete Gotch. I'm a criminal barrister of England and Wales. I've been doing that for 19 years. Before I was doing that, I was a police officer. I was with Thames Valley Police for 15 years. But, you know what, I think that puts me in a good place to be able to say some legal facts to the people that govern us. And I'm going to start off with a few general facts, and then I'm going to add in a few facts about the way that the state is treating Tommy Robinson. So, fact number 1. I love my country. Let me know if you agree with me. Loving your country does not make you far right. Fact 2. Uncontrolled illegal immigration is damaging our country. Being concerned about illegal immigration does not make you a racist. Fact 3. There is a problem in this country with a toxic Islamic ideology. Being concerned about the spread of Islam does not make you Islamophobic. A phobia is an irrational fear, or a fear of something which is unrealistic. There is nothing irrational about fearing a group who commit 80% of all terrorist attacks in the UK. Fact 4. There is a massive crackdown on free speech underway in this country. Blasphemy laws look as if they may be just around the corner. The police are now openly political. People are in prison for Facebook posts, while violent criminals are being released to make room for them. Tommy Robinson, currently serving 18 months in prison for showing the film Silenced. In other words, for telling the truth when other media outlets were just telling lies. And there's the thing, he's not just in prison, he's in solitary confinement. Now that is something that is usually used to punish prisoners who act up in prison. And we know that segregation of that kind for periods longer than 14 days can have a detrimental effect on somebody's mental health. And we know that because prison psychologists tell us that. But Tommy is likely to spend 9 months on his own. So why is that? Some would say it's an attempt to break him. The prison would say, oh, it's for his own protection. Well, let's quickly look at those two alternatives. I'll address a few questions directly to Nicola Marfleet, the governor of Wood Hill Prison. Nicola Marfleet, if you have to keep Tommy Robinson in solitary confinement,
Who are you protecting him from? Why does Tommy have to be kept in solitary rather than dealing with the group who are making the threats against him? Doesn't that exactly mirror what is going on in society? Where, rather than dealing with the violent criminals, we prefer to deal instead with the people who call them out. Liz Marfleet, Governor, there is a difference between segregation and solitary confinement. There must be plenty of people in that prison who would be quite happy to be housed with Tommy Robinson. Just safe people, just people who are not jihadists. So why then is he kept isolated from everybody? If it's for his own protection, why have all the visitors who've been to see him so far been made to sign a non-disclosure agreement so that the things that Tommy says in prison cannot be repeated outside of the prison? What is it that you don't want the public to hear? And why, Ms Marfleet, as a public servant, are you involving yourself in politics? And how does that relate in any way to his protection? And I hear now that all his visits have now been stopped. All personal visits to Tommy have now been stopped. There can be no possible legal justification for doing that. If it isn't an attempt to break him, what is it? The public need an explanation. And these questions, of course, should be asked by those that represent us over there. But they're not being asked. Lastly, Tommy should be in an open prison. He's category C. He should really be category D and in open conditions. Now there's no clear definition of who's entitled to a category D open prison, but there is some fairly clear advice on who is not entitled. You're not entitled to category D if you're violent, if you're a foreign national at risk of deportation, if you're an escapee, if you're someone who continues to behave in a criminal way whilst in prison, or if you're somebody who disrupts the security and good order of a prison. So, given that none of these things apply to Tommy Robinson, why can he not be housed in a category D open prison? I have no doubt that what is happening to Tommy is a breach of his Article 3 human rights. And that's the bit that prohibits torture and inhuman treatment. And in my view, that is exactly what's going on. So the question is, what can all of us do about it? What can we do about it? First thing, lobby your MPs. They should be asking these questions on our behalf, but they're not. Lobby your MPs. Secondly, tell everybody what's going on. They're not going to hear about this on the BBC, are they? They're not going to read about it in The Guardian. Tell your mates, tell your kids, tell everybody down the pub what's going on. Refuse to be silenced. And if anybody doesn't like what you're saying, defeat them with facts. That's what Tommy does, isn't it? I've never seen him lose an argument. Because he just bombards people with truth and facts, and you can't stand up against it. So we must all do the same. We must all step up now. We are all Tommy Robinson. Thank you for listening.
I know you're getting cold, and I really want everybody to start moving about. I know it sounded stupid, and I took the mick out of you, but start jumping up and down again. You've got to get the blood going, guys. And if you're really cold, give someone a cuddle, give someone next to you a hug. Got to bring Maureen up. Maureen is an independent councillor from from Wigan. She stood for Tommy, she's fighting for Tommy, she's standing for a public inquiry, not about the grooming gangs, but we can call them rape gangs now, because that's what they are. Give it up for Maureen from Wigan Council.
Hi everyone, my name's Maureen Byrne and I'm a local independent councillor in Wigan. However, today I am acting as a private citizen in my own personal capacity. I have to say that because they've got a solicitor employed to investigate me already. I have followed Tommy Robinson for a few years, mainly in support of his fight against the rape gangs. Last week I brought a motion forward to Wigan Council that they ask Keir Starmer to have a full national inquiry into the rape gangs. They deliberately prolonged the meeting so that there was no time for my motion. I said I'm going to go ahead with it anyway and I'm asking you all to stay. All the Labour councillors bar one walked out while I was speaking about the rape gangs. I posted a video of this incident on Facebook. 2 days later, they reconvened and they had to all pass the motion. This was due to the public outcry. They were shamed into it. So never give up. Don't let them silence you. Don't let them shut you down. Don't feel embarrassed in front of your friends. Speak out every time for what's right and for Tommy. He's not in jail for what he's done, but for what he says and what he believes. He's a political prisoner because he talks about issues the establishment would prefer he didn't. Consecutive governments allowed young vulnerable girls to be raped for years and let the perpetrators get away with it and local authorities cover up for it. Only a few people such as Tommy and Maggie Oliver were prepared to expose what was going on. Everyone, regardless of colour, ethnicity or religion, should demand that there is a national inquiry. Those girls deserve justice. Tommy is in jail because he makes films that tell the truth. He's not in jail for doing something wrong, he's in jail for telling the truth and doing the right thing. He's in jail while dangerous criminals are set free. We must not let the establishment silence us as they try to silence him. I was asked on to GB News to speak about the motion at the council, and I mentioned Tommy Robinson on GB News because how can we talk about grooming gangs without talking about Tommy Robinson? I'm not ashamed to say his name. I'm proud to say Tommy Robinson, as we all should be. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Some amazing people stepping up and speaking today. We've got a friend of this movement that's been a friend of Tommy, a friend of what we do for a very long time. Give it up for the former leader of UKIP, Mr. Gerard Bottom. He's somewhere about. I think Gerard's got hypothermia, so we'll have to wing it for a few minutes. Get the guy to play the next song. Next song. Get the next song on. Where is he? He's hiding. We're playing hide and seek with Gerard and we found him. Here he is. He was just keeping you all waiting. Gerard, everybody.
Hello everybody, thank you for coming. Thank you to the organisers and all of the stewards and everybody that makes it possible for inviting me today. And of course, why are we here? We're here to support Britain's premier political prisoner, Tommy Robinson. Not forgetting now all the other political prisoners that have joined Tommy over the last few months. Now, I grew up in an era of political prisoners. I remember reading about people who were being locked up for giving their opinions, for criticising and questioning a government's agenda. Such people were put in prisons, they were put in re-education camps, or they were put in gulags. And of course, it wasn't happening here, it was happening in the old Soviet Union. And now we have started to copy what the old Soviet Union used to do, where people cannot critique, they cannot question, and they're being locked up for giving their opinions. Well, that shouldn't surprise us too much now, because we have an extreme left government run by a Marxist and his fellow low IQ loony lefties. Now, the first tenet of Marxism is that you have to destroy the old order and society. Now, how do you do that in the UK? Well, it's been done by mass illegal immigration. And in fact, I think it will be more accurate to call it mass migrant invasions rather than immigration. And how do they intend to destroy our old order by doing that? Well, it breaks down national identity, it destroys national loyalty, and it destroys national cohesion. And you can see it around you all the time. You see it in the general lawlessness, the general low-level crime, the organised crime of foreign criminal gangs, and of course, as has come to light more and more, in the organised rape and prostitution, industrialised prostitution of underage and general white girls. All of this has been done for a reason, to destroy our cohesive society. Now, during the lockdown, you may remember, during the Troubles last summer, a man was sent to prison for posting a meme. And that meme had a picture of some illegal immigrants, and then it had a caption saying, "Coming to a town near you soon." And he was in prison for that. Well, he was telling the truth. And that truth was confirmed last week by the government's Office for National Statistics. They said that Britain's population is due to rise from 67 million to 72.5 million by 2032. That is the demonstration that that man was telling the truth. It's coming to a town near you over the next 5 years if you haven't got it already. The government is letting in 900,000 people a year at the moment. Now, I cited the old Soviet Union earlier on, and those of you of my age and a bit younger will remember that they had their heroes of free speech too. In Russia they had Alexander Solzhenitsyn, in Poland they had Lech Walesa, in Czechoslovakia they had Václav Havel, and many, many more unsung heroes who paid a heavy price for defying the government. But the government, and more importantly the system, was eventually overthrown because you cannot deny the truth forever. Well, our national hero now is Tommy Robinson. And all of those other fellow free speechers that are paying the price in prison for pointing out the bleeding obvious. Now, what can we do? What can we do? Well, all we can do is what we're doing now. We can continue to tell the truth, continue to speak up, continue to support the social media channels that are replacing the old legacy media. They cannot imprison everybody. Now, we have to thank God for Elon Musk, who has brought this issue into an international spotlight. Maybe even President Trump may decide to say something about it. Let's hope so. So carry on what we're doing, do whatever you can think of to do to support Tommy. One of the suggestions I had is send him a card in prison. He's getting thousands and thousands and thousands, so maybe the prisons will get fed up with trying to sort through his mail and put him in an open prison. Let's do what we can. Thank you very much.
Is anybody having a good time? Let's keep it high energy all the way to the very end. We've got 1 hour left, and we've got to plough through the speakers so they all get an opportunity to speak and spread some love. Now this is one of my favourite men on X, and he said, make up what you want about me, so I'm going to say he was lead singer of the Beatles back in the day. David Banks, come on!
Yeah, I've left John, Paul and Ringo backstage. Listen, it's very, very great to be here with you this afternoon. Can I just start by fact-checking the BBC in advance, if I may? There's thousands of people here, and we know that, and we know that when they report on this, they'll say it was half a dozen million dog. So, BBC, fact-checked, just to start with. Secondly, it's important to see positivity. And if we look across the Atlantic, we see Donald Trump got into power, and what was the first thing he did? He released the January 6th political hostages. Right on. Even better, the people responsible for putting those hostages in prison, they're going to be investigated, and they might end up in prison as well. So, that sounds kind of good to me, doesn't it? And of course, needless to say, the reason we're here is because Tommy Robinson is a political hostage, taken by a corrupt regime here in the United Kingdom, a regime where we're standing amongst the remnants of it, and we need to have real change here in this country as well. And it's not just Tommy, because it's also the other people taken political hostage last August in the aftermath of the Southport atrocity. So all those people should not be behind bars. The people who should be behind bars are the people responsible. And I just want to briefly mention one of them, and that is the Attorney General of the United Kingdom, Lord Cromer, or Cromer, he's the guy that represented John Adams. He's the guy that suggested that Shamima Begum would be returned to the UK. Yeah, that guy. And he's the guy that made sure last autumn that Tommy was eventually put behind black bars. You know, so my hope would be in due course, and this will happen. Tommy Robinson will be freed. He will join us again. And what I would love to see is everybody involved in his incarceration investigated, and ultimately I'd like to see them. I hope you agree with that. And on that note, because I know you're putting down hypothermia, as indeed I, but thanks again for coming here for tonight. It's great to be with you. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Another wonderful man. And now we have got Urban Scoop's international reporter, Vicky Richer. Let's hear it, bro. Come on.
Hello together, and thank you for having me here. And we are all here to talk about the political prisoners who we want to get out, especially Tommy Robinson. But we should never forget the people who died in prison because of political imprisonment. So I will name internationally from 3 countries the people who died in political imprisonment. I start with the UK, and you all know Peter Lynch, who committed suicide in prison. We should never forget his name. I come to Brazil. They had a January 8th. It was the same bullshit like January 6th, only in Brazil. Clezon, he died on pneumonia in prison. Demorais, the Supreme Court judge, didn't let him out because he was too sick. But he was a political opponent. He said Jair Bolsonaro is the right president, so he had to stay in prison and die. Now I come to America. We all know about January 6th. In January 6th, we had suicide in prison. Matthew Perna, Mark Ernst, Gord Matcham, Christopher Georgia, David Homo, they all committed suicide because they were standing up for their right of freedom of speech. We should never forget their names. Two other J6ers didn't die on suicide, but Julio Pujua died just days after his release from prison, where he had been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. He maybe could have survived if he would have been in freedom and could have the medication what he would need it. Bart Shively is released, has now also cancer. It's fatal. He got his cancer related to his service for the military, for fighting for his country. He would maybe still be able to fight this cancer if he would have got his medication. And I also want to name the people who died on January 6th. Ashley Babbitt got killed. Roxanne Parlin got killed. Kevin Greason got killed. Benjamin Phillips got killed. All those names we should never forget because they will not come back. But they stood for the same reasons you are here right now, for freedom of speech. And we should remember on the 20th of January, Donald J. Trump got back into office. The first thing what he did after being president again, he released 1,500 of the January 6th prisoners. So my call is now directed to Keir Starmer. You should release all British political prisoners by Monday. And if not, you get the hell out of this office. Thank you.
Tommy Robinson, here he is, ladies and gents.
Yeah, I'm Norman Fenson, mathematician and Professor Emeritus of Risk at Queen Mary University of London. Academics claim to be the torchbearers for protecting human rights, civil liberties and freedom of speech. Tommy Robinson's incarceration is a disgraceful breach of those principles. He's a political prisoner. But if I could have got all the other academics prepared to publicly say the same thing, I could have driven them here in a Renault Clio and still had room for a couple of hitchhikers.
Is not done with the United Kingdom yet. There is a revival happening of people who are seeking truth, and they are finding it in Jesus Christ. He is King of the United Kingdom. And I tell you what, if you turn to Him, you will find the greatness that made our country awesome to begin with. I'm going to conclude with a short scripture, and I believe it applies to our country today. Chapter 7 of the second book of Chronicles, chapter 14. If my people, which are called by my name, says God, shall humble themselves, pray, and seek my face, and turn from wicked ways, I will hear them from heaven, I will forgive their sin, and I will heal their land. If we turn back to God, He will heal the United Kingdom, and He will expunge it of the evil which is set as a rot in our nation. So I want to encourage you, don't lose hope. There are good churches out there. Don't go to the Cult of England or other woke churches. Find a good biblical church with a pastor who has the balls to speak the truth. And be with like-minded people so we can form strong Christian communities again. Don't let them bully you into silence, but stand firm. Now, my brother in Christ and one of my best friends, Father Calvin Robinson, has got in trouble for a hand gesture recently. And my wife said, keep your hands at your side, dear, or it's divorce. So, even though that's a sin. So, I thought we could do a great British gesture, inspired by the man whose statue is just in the square down there. How's about we say, V for victory! Free Tommy Robinson! And make Britain Christian again!
Thank you, Father Bert, and he's certainly right about one thing: our lands needs healed. Now, we're going to finish very, very soon. We've got Pastor Ricky, we've got a song, and then we've got Pastor Phil who's going to come up and close in prayer. So give it up for these great men of God, Pastor Ricky Doolan, Pastor Phil. You've been the most generous crowd of all what's going into the buckets. You've been the most patient crowd, and you're the most hardy crowd. You must all be from Middlesbrough, the north of England, because you stood in the cold without shivering. Give yourselves a round of applause for coming. God bless you all. Here's Ricky Doolan. Hey, United Kingdom, Great Britain, England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales, give a big shout in this place! Right, just to warm us up a little bit. There's no bang to give. I want us to clap our hands on this. They need to hear it. Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson. Come on. Oh, Tommy, Tommy, faster now. Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson. Oh, Tommy, Tommy, lift it up. Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson. Oh, Tommy, Tommy. Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson. Oh, we want Tommy out now. Come on, you got to go. We want Tommy out. We want Tommy out. Come on. We want Tommy out. 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 Somebody get a big shout in this place. But we can do better than that. One more time on the count of three.
We shout so the people in Parliament can hear. All the lefties and the globalists can hear. We're going to shout on 3. 1, 2, 3. And let that be our battle cry as we are united together today, uniting the kingdom, because we decided to throw a national hero in prison, to silence him. And let's not be mistaken, it's nothing to do with contempt of court, it's nothing to do with anything that Tommy's done wrong, it's just to silence his voice. Why are they now making his friends that are trying to visit him not allowed to go to the prison and visit? Because it's silencing. They don't want people hearing the truth. And as long as we stand together and we speak the truth and we stay united and we stay as one, we'll break through this darkness and this evil. Now we're going to do a song in just a moment, but it's important that I say this as well, and we've heard it from some of our other speakers, that this country is founded and built on a solid foundation, and that foundation is the Lord Jesus Christ. Christianity built this country. Christianity made this country be great. And as long as we respect and we honor that same Christianity and that same God we call Jesus Christ, then there's no evil or darkness or devil that can ever defeat us. We're going to do this song together, and this is an important song, and this is for Tommy. We're going to sing this one for Tommy today, but it's for each and every one of us, and it's very important that we recognize with the Lord Jesus Christ, we will never walk alone. So let's sing this song together. Of Elon Musk and the words of Father Calvin Robinson, my heart's yours. Father, we hope in our our hearts. We need hope in our hearts. The prophet Amos said these words, that justice will roll down like a river and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. The kingdom of God is righteousness, peace and joy in the Holy Spirit. And if we are to know peace in this nation again, we need righteousness. And we cannot have political prisoners. We cannot have injustice if we are to know peace. And so may we stand for righteousness. That is why I need today that we stand for righteousness. And so can I just declare a blessing over us today before we go from here and before I hand the mic back to Richard, who will give us some instructions of what happens next. So let me bless you if you will afford me that opportunity. So go forth into the world in peace. Be of good courage. Hold fast to that which is good. Render to no one evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the afflicted. Show love to everyone. Love and serve the Lord. Rejoicing in the power of the Holy Spirit. And the blessing of Almighty God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit be among you, be upon you, remain with you, and with those whom you love, now and evermore. And we say together, Amen.
Oh guys, what a fantastic day. And I want to once more thank every single one of you for coming. I'm just going to tell you what we need to do now. If you're leaving, just as you turn around, head toward Parliament Square. If you go towards Waterloo again to get home, go that way. If you go towards Victoria Station, go up Victoria Street. Keep it peaceful, keep it respectful. We've had a great day. No arrests from our side. Now you don't go home before I trip up and fall off the stage. See you next time. See you in September.